What if I told you that the way you text her can either spark obsession or make her lose interest forever? Most men believe that attraction is built through looks, status, or some grand gesture, but the truth is far more subtle and far more powerful. Women fall in love through their ears, and in the modern world that means through the words you choose to send. If you're feeling confused, ignored, or like you're always the one chasing, it's not because you're not enough. It's because you haven't learned the language that speaks to her desire. Your words are your power, if you know how to use them. And right now, you're standing at a turning point. You can keep sending boring, needy messages that push her further away, or you can learn how to trigger emotion, curiosity, and connection with just a few well-placed lines. Now, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I choose words that attract, not chase. Let's dive in. Number 1. Mastering magnetic messaging, the art of curiosity, anticipation, and intentional praise. There's a silent war happening on your phone screen. Every time you send a message, you're either strengthening attraction or silently killing it. Most men text reactively, chasing, explaining, filling silence, and hoping the right emoji or quick reply will spark interest. But connection isn't built through convenience, it's cultivated through intention, especially when it comes to creating emotional impact without being clingy. That's where this strategy begins, using your words like a scalpel, not a sledgehammer. And it starts with 3 powerful techniques: messages that spark curiosity, messages that build anticipation, and praise that actually makes her feel seen. Let's talk about curiosity first. In the age of instant gratification, a message that doesn't say everything is gold. Instead of sending the predictable "how's your day," imagine you text, "Something happened today and it made me think of you." You won't guess what it is. That alone can interrupt her scrolling, pull her in, and ignite her imagination. Why? Because the mind hates open loops. When you plant an idea without finishing it, she can't help but fill in the blanks. It's not about tricking her, it's about inviting her into a moment. And the more she leans in, the more invested she becomes, not just in the message, but in you. The key is to not deliver the answer too quickly. Keep the tempo slow, steady, and emotionally charged. Let the curiosity grow. Let her ask. And even then, tease the reveal. It's better told in person. Suddenly, the conversation is no longer just texting. It's an experience. The second technique builds right on the first: anticipation. If curiosity is the spark, anticipation is the slow burn. It's how you make her look forward to the next moment with you, not dread another generic message. Say you've got plans together, Friday night. Most men will confirm with boring logistics. You, however, send this: "Friday's going to be dangerous in a good way. I'll tell you why later." That's not just scheduling, it's seduction. You're creating emotional tension without overplaying your hand. You're giving her just enough to imagine, but not enough to predict. And that's the magic. People value what they wait for. When she doesn't know what's coming next, she starts to want it. The wait builds pressure, and when that anticipation breaks, when you finally show up, when you reveal the surprise, it hits 10 times hard. You didn't give her dopamine, you gave her dopamine with build-up. That's what stays in her memory long after the moment's passed. But none of this works if your praise is lazy, let's be honest. Telling a woman, "You're hot," or "You're so pretty," isn't praise, it's filler. And worse, it puts you in the same category as every other guy who notices her face but misses her essence. Real praise is surgical, specific, felt. You say, "The way you stay calm when things go wrong," that's rare. Most people lose their mind, but you just breathe and move forward. Or, "You're honest without being harsh." That's something most people haven't figured out. Suddenly, you're not just complimenting her, you're seeing her, And for a woman who's used to being admired for her body, but not her mind or character, this hits different. This creates emotional intimacy without being needy. It tells her you're paying attention, but not to impress her, to understand her, and that distinction is what separates a man she likes from a man she can't stop thinking about. From a Stoic lens, this isn't manipulation, it's mastery. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." So be the man who texts, not to fill the silence, but to say something worth saying. Be the man who uses curiosity not to bait, but to invite. Be the man who gives praise not to gain favor, but because it's simply true. When you message with this kind of intent, something shifts in her. She stops seeing your words as noise. She starts reading between the lines. She starts thinking about you when you're not around. And most importantly, you stop being another guy on her phone. You become an experience, a presence, a mystery she wants to explore. So the next time you want to reach out, pause. Ask yourself, is this message a gift or a grasp for attention? If it's the latter, delete it. If it's the former, send it. And watch how silence, suspense, and sincerity reshape the entire dynamic. Comment below, I text with intention, not desperation. Number 2. Turn silence into power. How to use messaging gaps to build attraction. Most men fear silence in conversation, especially over text. The moment they don't get a reply in 5 minutes, their minds spiral. Did I say something wrong? Or should I double text? But here's the truth. Silence isn't the enemy. For a man who lives with calm purpose, silence is power. Silence is strategy. And if you learn how to use it, instead of fearing it, you flip the script entirely. You go from the man who seeks attention to the one who commands it. Let's break this down from a psychological perspective first. The human mind is hardwired to seek closure. When a message goes unanswered, when a moment feels incomplete, the brain keeps circling it like a fly to a light. That's why cliffhangers work. That's why curiosity burns. And that's why a well-placed silence, not from fear but from intention, creates gravitational pull. She starts checking her phone, rereading your last message, wondering what you're thinking, and more importantly, wondering what you're doing that's keeping you from replying. That space becomes your leverage. The key, of course, is why you're silent. If you're just sitting there hoping she replies, it's not silence. It's emotional paralysis. That's weakness in disguise. But if you're actually building something, working on your craft, hitting the gym, living your purpose, then your silence becomes your signal. It tells her without words, I don't chase, I attract. I'm building something greater than this moment. That's magnetic. That's high iron, high-tech masculine energy in action. Let's make it even more practical. Imagine she sends you a slightly passive message. Nothing negative, but just lukewarm. Most guys would overcompensate. They'd reply fast, add emojis, crack a joke, maybe even apologize for something that didn't need apologizing. That energy screams one thing: validation, seeking. Instead, what do? You wait. Not because you're punishing her, not because you're playing games, but because that moment didn't deserve your full presence. And your presence is not free. When you finally reply, do it with clarity and calm, like nothing happened. It sends the subtle but powerful message, you don't control the rhythm here, I do. This same principle applies after a good interaction too. Maybe you had a great night together, great vibe, flirty texts exchanged after. Most men would double down the next morning with good morning or thinking about last night. But here's the thing, let the emotion breathe, let her miss you, let her remember the moment without being forced into the next one. Give her space to want more, and when you do reach out again, say something unexpected, sharp and intent. For example, Woke up with one part of last night still stuck in my mind. I'll tell you later. Now she's back in the game. Now she's thinking again. You've reignited the spark, not smothered it. Stoicism isn't about being cold. It's about being clear. Clear in intention, clear in value, clear in energy. A Stoic man doesn't fear distance, he understands it. He doesn't need to fill silence, he lets silence work for him. And this is where most men fail. They think more words mean more interest, more texting means more intimacy. But it doesn't. It just dilutes your value. Remember, presence isn't measured by frequency, it's measured by impact. So when she texts you something vague, wait. When she goes quiet, you go deeper into your life, not your phone. And when you text her again, make it worth the wait. Silence is not the absence of power. Silence is power when you hold it with confidence. Now speak out. My silence speaks louder than their games. Number 3. Say less, mean more. How strategic words trigger emotional attachment. Words are not all equal. Some are thrown around like confetti, pretty, forgettable, and meaningless. Others land like lightning, short, sharp, and unforgettable. The difference lies not in volume but in weight. Most men talk too much and say too little. They over-explain, over-compliment, and in doing so they dilute their presence. A high-talk man, a Stoic man, knows the truth. Less is more. Fewer words, more meaning. That's what creates mystery, authority, and emotional imprint. Let's be clear, this isn't about being cold or distant. It's about using your words with purpose. When you say something, it should shift the energy in the room. It should make her pause, reflect, wonder, because when you choose your words carefully, when you speak from a place of grounded presence, every sentence becomes a seed, and she keeps replaying it in her mind long after the conversation ends. Take compliments, for example. Most men compliment women to gain approval. You're beautiful. You're amazing. I love your smile. Harmless? Maybe. Memorable? Not at all. Because these words are generic, they could be said to anyone, and usually are. But imagine saying, I like how calm you stay when things go wrong. Most people panic, you stay clear. Or, you challenge me and I don't say that often. These are not compliments, they're reflections. They show that you see her, not just her appearance. That type of recognition cuts deeper than beauty. It makes her feel understood, and emotional understanding is the true currency of connection. Now let's talk about disagreement. Most guys either avoid conflict entirely or overcorrect and become aggressive. The Stoic path is different. You disagree with calm precision. No need to defend yourself emotionally, no need to explain your entire logic. Just hold your ground with a short line like, that's not how I see it, or I hear you but I'll pass. That's strength without shouting, boundaries without bitterness, and again, it's memorable because it's rare. In text, this principle becomes even more powerful. Everyone's flooding her phone with noise, memes, emojis, long stories, shallow affirmations. You don't compete, you cut through. One well-paced line like, I had a thought about you earlier, but I'll keep it for when we meet, creates more emotional response than 10 paragraphs. Or simply, you're distracting, dangerously so. She'll feel something. She'll think about it. She'll wonder what you didn't say, and that's the point. Mystery isn't built by withholding everything, it's built by withholding just enough. Here's what most men miss. Women don't fall in love with logic, they fall in love with language that lingers, with the pause between the words, with the energy that surrounds what's unsaid. That's where tension lives. That's where attraction grows. Your job is not to fill every gap. It's to plant moments she returns to in her mind again and again, wondering what you meant and why it mattered. From the Stoic perspective, this is about control. Control of impulse, control of expression, control of outcome. You don't speak to get a reaction, you speak because it's necessary. And when you do, you speak with clarity, simplicity, and calm weight. No flattery, no noise, just truth and tone. So next time you feel the urge to talk more, to keep her interested, pause. Say less, then let your presence say the rest. Comment below. Fewer words, greater impact. Number 4. Turn her mind into a maze. Why mystery beats us every time. The modern man is too available, too open, too quick to share his every thought, plan and emotion, and because of that he becomes predictable, boring, easy to understand, easy to move on from. But attraction doesn't live in clarity, it lives in mystery. It lives in the unknown, the unfinished, the slightly out of reach. If you want her to think about you at night, to wonder what you're doing, to feel pulled in without knowing why, it won't come from chasing. It comes from becoming amazed. She can't stop exploring. Think about this. When was the last time you read a book and stopped halfway because you knew exactly how it would end? Predictability kills curiosity, and in dating, curiosity is everything. If she knows where you are, what you think, and how you feel at all times, then where's the challenge? Where's the spark? Men who overshare their schedule, overtalk, and overpredict their moves kill the emotional adventure. They become the nice guy she respects but never craves. So what does it mean to be mysterious? Not manipulative, not aloof, but magnetic. It starts with silence. You don't need to answer every message in seconds. You don't need to reveal your full plans. You don't need to explain what you're feeling every moment. When you delay your response, when you pause before revealing more, when you choose your words with precision, you create space. And in that space she imagines, she wonders, she projects. That's where emotional investment begins. A simple message like, "I've been thinking about you, but I'm not sure you're ready for what I'm thinking," says more than an essay of affection. You leave room for her to lean in. Or on a date, instead of filling the air with stories about your past, drop one line, "There's a reason I don't talk about that part of my life," and then pivot. Watch how her attention locks in. She's no longer just listening, she's just investigating. Now, here's the key. Mystery isn't about being cold, it's about being disciplined. You're not hiding because you're scared, you're being selective because you value your energy. Not everyone gets full access, and when she feels that, she steps up. She starts earning your attention, not just receiving it by default. Women don't want all of you immediately. They want to unfold you piece by piece. They want to earn closeness, not be handed it like a discount. That journey from curiosity to connection is what makes her feel alive. If she figures you out in 3 conversations, there's no reason to come back. But if she senses that you have depth, layers she hasn't seen yet, she'll keep coming back just to get closer to the core. The Stoic man lives this naturally. He doesn't speak more than necessary. He doesn't reveal more than earned. His world is built around purpose, not performance. And when a woman senses that she is entering your world, not becoming the center of it, she treats you differently. She values the moments, the glimpses, the emotional fingerprints you leave behind. So if you want her mind to circle back to you when she's lying awake at 2 a.m., don't be the man who gave her everything. Be the man who left her wondering what's still hidden. Comment below. I let curiosity do the chasing. Number 5. She doesn't fall for the words, she falls for the tension. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. Communication is key. And that's true, but not in the way most men think. It's not about how much you say, but what you don't say. Not the words themselves, but the space between the words. Women don't fall in love with explanations. they fall into desire through tension. And tension is born from restraint, not release. If you're pouring everything out, every compliment, every intention, every feeling, what you're doing is removing the mystery, killing the build-up, and destroying the story before it even starts. Imagine watching a movie where, in the first 5 minutes, the hero spills the ending, confesses everything, and begs for love. There's no suspense, no pull, no reason to stay. That's what many men do in text messages and conversations. They want to be honest, authentic, and clear, but in their quest to prove worth, they actually dilute it. They turn tension into transaction. Here's how I feel, please accept me. But attraction doesn't work like that. It's not logical, it's psychological. Here's the truth. What keeps her thinking about you, dreaming about you, talking to her friends about you, is not the compliment you gave her, but the pause before it. It's not the full paragraph you wrote explaining how she makes you feel. It's the one-sentence message that suggests more but says less. You have no idea what you did to me today. That one sentence says everything without saying anything. It makes her wonder. It makes her play it in her mind. And that is how tension is born. This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding energy. Tension is what makes music powerful. It's the rise and fall, the silence between notes. Same in conversation. A slight pause after a bold statement. A deep look with no words. A message that hints but doesn't tell. You are not giving her an answer. You are giving her an invitation into your world. And the more she walks through the door on her own, the more emotionally invested she becomes. Here's what to avoid: rapid texting, double messages when she hasn't replied, long confessions, or over-explaining your intentions. These actions remove the polarity. They give her certainty too fast, and once she has it, the game's over. Not because she's cruel, but because humans are wired for pursuit. When there's nothing to figure out, the brain disengages, curiosity dies, and desire follows. Instead, master the art of tension. Speak with purpose, not panic. Wait before replying, not because you're busy, but because you own your time. Send a message that implies layers. There's more I want to say, but maybe I shouldn't yet. That's not a tease, that's an invitation to depth. And women crave depth more than anything. From a Stoic perspective, this is alignment. You are not here to entertain. You are not here to overperform for attention. You are grounded, centered, and in control. Your silence isn't emptiness, it's presence. You create gravity, not noise, and the woman who truly senses that, she will be drawn in, not because of what you said, but because of how you held back. Remember, she doesn't fall for the story you tell, she falls into the tension you create. Comment below, I speak through silence. You started this video thinking texting was random, confusing, or even hopeless. But now, you see, it's a skill, a powerful one, and once you master it, you don't chase women, they lean in. She never ignored you because you weren't valuable. She simply hadn't felt you yet, and now, with the right words, she will. If you're ready to take this power into every conversation from now on, like this video, subscribe and comment below. I am irresistible through clarity and confidence. Speak with intention, text with strength. The right words shape your world.